I want to talk about no mind. It's hyphenated. It's neither the presence nor the absence of mind. It's a certain quality of awareness without thought. No mind, no hyphen mind is presence, basically. If I ask myself or I reflect and think, what is the mind? It requires the mind to explain it. The mind only knows itself as it is in terms of mental description. So it's a reflexive, grasping sort of activity. No mind is presence. And there may be thought going on or there may not be thought going on. But the awareness that doesn't judge, that's what presence is. It's an awareness that doesn't judge. When we embody that and we're listening within ourselves and just present for the thoughts that arise, it's like watching clouds, perhaps. They pass by in the sky of mind. If you're watching clouds and someone says, "What's a cloud?" It's like you have to spell it out with clouds. Like those airplanes that, I don't know if they still do that, but that's called skywriting. And it's written briefly, and then, of course, the wind comes and it goes away. So the only way to know what a cloud is in a way that your mind can grasp is to describe it in terms of clouds. The sky itself is brilliant and can't be captured that way. Because if someone says, "What is the sky?" and you have a skywriter come in and fly a plane by and it says, "It's this," it's not that. That's another cloud that has a sky behind it. But everybody's focused on the words. Oh, it's that. So the abundant no mind of that which is a cloud. No, it's not. Well, what is it? So you maybe have the skywriter write, "Not this," with arrows pointing outward. Like where? Like you're looking for another cloud that is pointing at. Which one is it? I'm reminded of a cartoon of two fish that are jumping out of the ocean and they're in midair, and one of them is talking to the other one, is pointing down with a fin, saying, "That stuff, stupid." Like, huh? What? So in that sense, all we have is a way to point. It's just the answer is not another thought. It's not mental. So no mind, again, in the strict sense that I'm using it, no hyphen mind, is a spacious quality of awareness. If you just said, well, it's just not that, let's say, okay, it's not clouds, and then you have someone come in with a fancy airplane that just blows all the skywriting out of the sky, and it's just, in a sense, blank. Because if all you know is skywriting, you're not aware of what the space of the sky is, this sky-like mind, this openness. If you don't know what that is, then you'll think it's just an absence. And it's not an absence. So that's why we say the spacious awareness is neither the presence nor the absence of thoughts. It's an awareness of what that space actually is. So it's a relationship with the thoughts. It's as if you're aware of the skywriting, but you're also aware of the space in which it's arising. And they have a different quality. So spacious awareness has a certain quality. Yes, it's spacious. It's non-dualistic, meaning it's not subject-object. There's no division there. The awareness in which the thoughts are arising are who or what we are. So the only way to, in a sense, cognize that without thought, to recognize it, you don't have words for what that is. The teacher Franklin Merrell-Wolff called it introception. He had to invent a word for it. He also called it knowledge through identity. Those are some words that can be used. There's a teacher named Shunyata, whose book I have. He's not perhaps as well known, but he called it inner standing. I kind of like that word, inner standing. Not understanding, inner standing. What we tend to do is think, what is that? And that what is that? We're expecting a verbal answer. We're expecting something we can think about. In other words, some kind of skywriting, not the sky itself. We just don't know. The way to recognize who or what we are as that spacious awareness of no mind is to pay attention to the thoughts that arise, the skywriting, if you will, and to see it without thinking about it, without describing it, without naming it. I have a pair of reading glasses here. If I look at these glasses, I in a sense know what they are. There's a concept about them, I can categorize them, I know what to do with them. And that's important and that's fine. But that's not what they are, that's just what I'm calling them. If I allow myself to look in a certain way, the name falls away, the form falls away, they become unimportant, and then I can put them down. And then put what down? It's already releasing. And the way to do that is to notice thoughts without judgment. So thoughts are judgments. A thought is a judgment because it doesn't capture the thing ever. So the glasses, I can call them that, but that's not what they are, that's just what I'm calling them. That's an important insight. We really don't know what anything is in the way of describing or naming it. Whatever it is, or that which it is, in its essence, is the same essence that we are. The I am is, in a sense, everything. It's infinite, and it's unknowable, similar to a spacious sky. So it's natural to hear about these topics and have the thought, well, what is that? Okay, that's good. That's not a problem. That's a thought arising. Our job is just to notice that if we want to be free of suffering. Suffering is just the inability to refrain from judgment, where we reify these objects, whether it's a self or an other, could be another person, could be just regular objects. We live in a conceptual world that's very limiting, that's subject-object, and so it creates conflict because things that are divided tend to rub up against each other and create friction. That's generally how it works. I find it unpleasant even to talk about it because I'm taking on that certain mindset and it starts to feel paranoid and strange. And that's another thought. That's a feeling too. It's a feeling of fear. Paranoia is not a pleasant feeling at all. Become aware of the thought, the feeling, and the sensation. In this case, it's mainly a feeling. And it has a structure of fear to it. I literally can feel it. It's like invoking a ghost. Like you watch a movie about ghosts and you can sort of pretend that they're real and get scared. And yet you don't fully buy into it. So at some point it passes. Wow, that was an interesting movie. You let it go. In a similar way, the mind can tell us certain things about functional relationships, like what are glasses, how do I use them? And there's an understanding that glasses are part of a conceptual framework that we call the world. It's like it's on a grid. It's a conceptual grid where we need to understand what things are and how they relate. So we tend to call it the relative. How does this relate to my face? How do I put them on? And, are they clean or not? Are they in good repair? Does it have the right magnification? Stuff like that. That's not what they are. I'm describing relationships that are purely cognitive. Most of the world basically thinks that things are things as we describe them. Most people think, well, yeah, these are glasses, no big deal. I know what those are. And they put it away, and it's just boring. They're not boring when you can witness them from this space of no mind. It's just brilliant. Because what we are is brilliant. We just have to embody it. Anyone who's watching this video that's on a path of awakening, trying to figure out what this stuff is, practicing meditation maybe, inquiry, prayer, just watching videos, reflecting. We hear or read early on that part of the practice is to become aware of thoughts as they arise. And we also hear about something called no mind, for example. Traditionally, it's a Buddhist idea. No mind. Oh, I need to suppress thoughts. That's an idea of how that works. It doesn't work. It would be like trying to suppress the skywriting, trying to pretend it's not there, or to try to like somehow mentally shove it away or blow it away. Like I said, bring a fancy airplane that blows it away. What happens? More comes in. And it's like a backlog because you've been suppressing it, so more of it comes across. And it's something that you can't get away from as long as you're trying to comprehend it in terms of more thinking. So the practice is not to suppress thoughts because as the heart pumps blood, the mind pumps thoughts. It's just what it does. So it's the quality of our attention that matters. And that particular quality that establishes that peacefulness and freedom in us, that no mind awareness, it would be as if we're trying to get rid of the skywriting in the sky of mind. And again, these are just clouds that are shaped into words. And they pass. So we have a thought, and it's some kind of skywriting that comes across the sky of our mind or of our spacious awareness. And we see the writing and we think, oh, that's a thought. Like the teaching says, I've read this in a book or I've heard it in a video, a teacher said, that's a thought. And it's as if you had another plane come in and write, that's a thought, and point toward the thought. It's a step. It's just, that's yet another thought. So we're not thinking about thoughts. That's not what we're doing. Eventually, the sky gets filled with clouds because we're thinking about thinking. And it's frustrating. It's a typical beginner error to try to suppress thoughts or to try to think about thoughts. The only reason we would suppress a thought is if we think, of course, that that's what we should do, that that's the practice. I don't find that to be an effective practice at all. It's trying to make something that is be not what it is. It's vexing. The thought is there. Just allow it. That spacious awareness allows it. Suppressing thought is based in a judgment of thought should be suppressed. The only reason you're doing that is there's a judgment that thought is not okay or it's bad or, I shouldn't be thinking. So there's a mentally generated self that we're calling I and the skywriting that shouldn't happen. And it's as if we're having all these planes come in and point and try to manipulate. And there's one that tries to shove it to the side and it's a mess. The analogy only goes so far, but you get the idea. When the thought comes up, just be aware of it without judgment. Even the judgment, this is a thought, is a judgment because we're describing it. Just be aware of that. And there's usually another thought like, oh, am I doing this right? That's another thought. The feeling that comes up. Fear, anxiety, something like that perhaps. Bodily sensations, just notice those and practice being the awareness that sees what's there and notices the thoughts, sees the skywriting and doesn't judge it. Because it tends to dissolve. It becomes interesting. I haven't seen skywriting in a long time, but I think it's interesting. Like you're walking down a beach or something and the sky is open and you're having a nice day, the waves are coming in, and then you see a plane up above writing something in the sky. It's pretty interesting. You don't even have the thought, that's interesting, or that's different. Those thoughts may arise, but that's part of the skywriting. So your own mind is the thing that's writing it. And observing it, you don't get lost in the meaning. You could know what it means. It's almost like every thought saying, this is a thought. It's like, thank you, I was aware of that. Before it makes meaning on the level of subject, object, in other words, dualistic, and frictional and conflict-ridden sort of awareness, there's a space of no mind that sees it and basically lets it go and lets it be what it is. And when it comes right down to it, it isn't anything. It's kind of like seeing the writing and instead of reacting to it, just letting it disperse. It's part of the sky in a way. The skywriting doesn't harm the sky, doesn't hurt it. And as we allow these thoughts to pass and dissolve, we realize that they're nothing. They seem to be something when we believe in them, when we attach to them. Then they run our life if we're not careful. That's another thought. I should be careful. Should I? Am I? It's like the plane dissolves, the skywriting dissolves, and then there's this spacious peacefulness that knows what to do. Before we can think, it knows what to do. The practice involves allowing the thoughts, and then allowing the thoughts about the thoughts, and then the thoughts about the thoughts are about the thoughts, and just noticing that. And if there's too many layers and it becomes too complicated, just breathe and relax. You could lie on your bed and just sprawled out. I don't know what to do. Please help. That would be a prayer. Just allowing. There's something coming alive in you, something awake and free, that if you would but surrender, it would become, in a sense, known to you, but because it is you, it's your own awareness. And you might feel a sense of peace or a release. It could be satisfaction, but it's not about anything. Nothing happened. It's just spacious and peaceful before you can think. So we'll say happy for no reason. The mind reasons, that's what it does. When there's this space of no mind, there's no reason to be happy because there's just no reason. We're not establishing something. We're not creating something. We're not following a chain of logic. It's prior to all that. It's already. And it's normal to have thoughts about thoughts and get anxious and afraid. Just see if you can just let that be what it is. Feel what you feel. Nothing needs to happen. We're not trying to make anything. Just breathe. Notice the thoughts. So I just had a thought. It's hypothetical, but the thought is, this is absurd. Is it? What's absurd? It's like as if my awareness is looking at it. And it's like there's a thought that doesn't want to be found. The thought that says this is absurd is a way of saying, oh, this is unimportant, shove it to the side. And I look at it, and it's just like, interesting. That's when it lets us go. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to be in this not knowing space because it seems like we have to be on guard with our thinking. So that's just one way it can work. The practice is not a battle with your own mind because the only thing that can oppose or argue with or disagree with your mind is your mind. It's like the skywriting's happening and there's another layer of text in the sky that's pointing at that saying, that's wrong. And here's why. And then it's like printing out a dissertation. And that's okay. Just notice. Just notice. Just be that noticing. Let it happen. You don't have to understand it. There is no understanding. Just practice being that noticing. And if some kind of self comes up, like, I feel pretty good about myself. It's like all of that I just said has a shape and a structure and a form made of thought. It can be subtle, but thought, feeling, sensation. Who is it that's proud of just being? There's a part of us that wants to point at it and say it's wrong. Like, not that, dumbass, and yet the thing that's pointing is the same thing that's doing the dumbassery to begin with. And it's just layers of it. Like encrusted layers. Like your uncle works down at the sewage processing department. And we're down there seeing like 50,000 layers of old novels that we wrote in our childhood. And they're just encrusted with grime. All of it goes away when you wake up, and it's a blessing. It's like Hercules cleaning the Stygian stables by diverting the river. It just cleans it out. And I would say there's nothing left, but it's just not something the mind can grasp, and we are it already.